So you just started spearfishing and you're looking for a spear gun. Consider this one. This is the SpearPro Challenger. Let's get into it. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the technical specs of this spear gun, a little bit about SpearPro, and then also my personal first impressions of this spear gun. Let's get into it.
SpearPro was founded by Dr. Petros Yannikoros, who began spearfishing as a child in Cyprus before moving to the United States later to earn his PhD in chemistry at USC. SpearPro offers a wide range of spearfishing and freediving equipment, including spear guns, wetsuits, fins, masks, floats, knives, and rigging components. The brand product spans entry-level equipment like this Challenger here to more advanced higher-end gear as well. The Challenger is the tube-style spear gun offered in 7 lengths, starting at 50 centimeters all the way going up to 100 centimeters, going up 10 centimeter increments. That range allows for the same platform to cover shorter, low visibility setups, as well as longer spear gun setups intended for more open water. It is offered in both black, gold, OD green, ocean, and pearl finishes. At the front of the muzzle is an open muzzle capable of holding up to 2 bands. The standard configuration comes rigged with one 16mm band, so a second band would be an optional charge rather than part of the factory setup. The included shaft is a 6.75mm Sandvik shaft. The barrel uses a full-length rail that supports and guides the shaft from the trigger mechanism towards the muzzle. Inside the handle is a trigger mechanism made up of stainless steel components that SpearPro states that can handle up to 500 pounds. The gun includes a muzzle bungee that provides small amount of stretch in the shooting line system, helping maintain line tension and reducing shock when the shaft reaches the end of the line. Finally, the reel mount is proprietary, meaning the Challenger is listed to be only compatible with the SpearPro Challenger reels, so reel compatibility should be checked before purchasing any aftermarket reel.
So with the technical specifications out of the way, let me give you my first impressions of this spear gun. Again, this is the SpearPro Challenger, and if you're starting out spearfishing, you're probably looking for an entry-level spear gun. And for clarification, what I define as entry-level is based on price, purely price. Obviously, the components are gonna matter, but when I classify something as entry level, I would say anything that is under the $350 ball mark point, which this starts at 200, at the recording of this video, about $210 for the 50 centimeter, and it goes all the way up to $270 for the 110. So I would say that is definitely, according to my definition, in the entry-level price point. So now that that's out of the way, let me give you my reasons of why, things I love about it and things I don't, things I would consider looking for when looking for a entry-level spear gun. So let me first come off the bat and say, if I was to get the SpearPro Challenger, this is the exact setup I would get. Not the setup, the length I would get. This particular example is the 90, and the 90 is, I think, a great size for maneuverability and also power. So this is a single band. You can run a double band on this, but I would say the simpler, the better. If you're starting on spearfishing, I'll do a separate video on that, but essentially you want the minimal number of variables as possible. So with that being said, single band is the way I would go. 90, it's maneuverable, but still gives you enough power where you can land plenty of reef fish. And yeah, it has plenty of potential there. No reel. Going back to that variable piece, I would choose not to do a reel. And the likelihood of you shooting a massive fish and it taking line, extremely low. It's possible, but extremely low. So I would say that risk of you spearing something and it running off with your spear gun, pretty low, at least in Southern California. So stuff I like about it, I would say the textured grips. There is a nice rubberized grip with, it looks like a kind of honeycomb texture on it. Nice feel. I would say above average hand size, and it feels really nice in the hand. I have plenty of room on the bottom, so it fits nice. The loop is good. The handle itself, I mean, is what you expect at this price point. It's well finished, but it just looks affordable. I'll say that. I do like how the butt of the SpearPro Challenger is slightly raised. I don't know if you can see that, and there's a cutout in the center so you can line up your shots a little bit cleaner down the shaft. So I do like that. The trigger pull is not bad. I'm gonna add some tension here. Does have a safety built in on the other side. I personally don't run with safeties, but if you're starting out, you want the extra sense of security, you know, having a safety is good. But let's see that trigger pull. Nice snappy pull. It does take a little bit more pressure than my other spear guns. Let's do that one more time. I need to get a measurement tool to measure the pound-feet of pressure it takes to break that trigger. But it's a very firm pull, and I feel like that's good for a spear gun like this. You don't want it super hot, meaning very sensitive, and you don't want to accidentally discharge or fire the spear gun when you don't want to. Has a bungee setup, so you put your line around the line release. You have a little bit of flex through the bungee, as I struggle with it here. There we go. But a very simple setup. The handle is, you know, very basic. Nothing to write home about. The trigger is fine. I don't think it's like the best trigger for this. I think for this price point, it's probably up there, but it's solid. Nothing to write home about. I think the shaft is a really nice finish as well. One thing I will say, and the muzzle. I'll finish with the muzzle. Simple muzzle design. It has a channel for the line to run through both sides, which is nice, and your wings on the side to secure your shaft. Everything pretty standard, I would say, for your kind of entry-level spear gun. If you wanted to use this as a whole gun later, you get into spearfishing, you're using this, you're learning, you want something a little nicer, a little longer, this would be a great spear gun just for hole hunting. Get banged up, you could take it. It's a nice aluminum tube, very simple. And it has a shelf or a spot for a rail system for the shaft to guide on. So it's not just a tube spear gun. It does have a rail system right where the shaft sits and kind of sits on top of. So when you reload, make sure to put it through the rubbers. And then it sits on that rail system pretty securely. Like so, right on top. Oh, skipping because of the mono on there. There we go. Slide this back. Wait till you hear a click right there. I like to give the front a little tug to make sure it's in. What you don't want to do is be smashing this shaft into the trigger mech aggressively. So make sure it's firm and do it firmly, not slamming it into the trigger mech. This trigger mech, I believe, is a friction trigger mech and not a double roller. Not a roller trigger mech, that is. So you'll need to maintain it well, and eventually it may need to be serviced in regards to it's metal on metal. It's gonna wear out over time. When I say over time, it's gonna take a long time. For example, not the same trigger mech, but I had the Pathos, I have the Pathos sniper roller, and that has a friction trigger mech as well. And I think after 5 years of many shots, the metal had worn down just over and over, just dropping like this, and it had finally worn out, and my trigger was done for. And so it is something to consider if you're going to shoot it a lot. Honestly, to get to that point, you have to shoot a lot. I used it for 5 years, and I shot all the time, and that was the only spear gun I used. So something to consider. But back to the shaft, something I would have liked to see on the SpearPro Challenger. This is not necessarily tied to the actual spear gun itself is mainly the shaft, which is part of it. But one thing I would do, because this is geared toward a more entry-level diver, is that I would probably just put one shark fin back here and then an assist, even though this is a 90. A 90 typically doesn't have an assist because of the shorter length. You could just pull straight through. You can just pull straight through like this, pull it all the way back, and you put it back on the shark fin. And if you want a little bit more power, there's a second one behind here you can put it back towards. But from my experience when going spearfishing for the first time, this is very difficult, was very difficult for me when I first started. It was a lot of pressure that I wasn't used to. And I found that just having an assist that would take it halfway, and then you can adjust, kind of take your time, rest perhaps, adjust it in different positions and try to pull it the rest of the way, is a little easier than going the full length and then trying to load this like this. So just my personal take, and it's not unique to the SpearPro Challenger necessarily. Most spear guns, if not all of them, have that same, don't have a shark fin in the center. I think I would rather do shark fin in the center and then one shark fin in the rear for the cheaper entry-level, affordable entry-level spear guns. But a solid consideration, the shaft is tuned the flopper is tuned very well. It has enough flop, but then once you lock it out, like if a fish tries to leave, it locks out. It takes a good amount of pressure for it to go back. So that's a nice pencil tip as well. But overall, a solid package, one worth considering. This is the SpearPro Challenger. Back to basics, simple to use, and won't break the bank. You have a ton of experience diving and you'll figure out what you want as you go, but a solid option, SpearPro Challenger. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Dive safe.